What would be the economic consequence of Brexit for Ireland?
Well, the economic consequences are enormous for Ireland. I mean, Britain is still our biggest trading partner. There's €1 billion of trade each separate week across the Irish Sea. It's enormous. We have also two quite similar sized economies in terms of our approach to exporting. It's interesting, since 2008, if you take Lehman Brothers and the collapse of 2008, since that moment and now, 40% of the net new jobs in Ireland have come as a consequence of exporting. So for us, we're a small exporting country, and we've come back on the strength of having a very strong sterling vis-à-vis the euro. So it's made it a very good environment for our exports. So were Britain to leave, it would cause a systemic shock. No one knows the length of the time of that shock. It would also lead to a devaluation of sterling. We're beginning to see that at the moment, which would create an impossible position for our exporters. So there's just all disaster on the headlines for Ireland were Britain to leave. And I think as a small open economy, really people cannot predict with accuracy the impact of this, but in my perspective and the view of the Irish government, it's all negative.
Banks, investment funds have talked about the consequences of Brexit for them. They seem to be backing the Remain campaign. Is there a possibility, are there possibilities for Ireland to benefit from a Brexit? Would companies, banks be more likely to locate to Ireland? Can it bring advantages?
Well, there's already a huge number of large financial service companies in Ireland. They use Ireland as the headquarters in terms of the EU market. We speak English, we're in the Eurozone. There's a very good work ethic in Ireland. All of those things are positive. I think there could be some benefits were the UK to leave, but I think those benefits would be undermined by comparison to the huge shock that would occur in the Irish economy as a consequence of Brexit. It's already been predicted by the Department of Finance in Ireland this year alone, if the British leave this month, the impact on Irish GDP will go down by half. In other words, we're expecting 6% growth this year. We're likely to see 3% growth, and that means in net real money terms, 5 billion less for the Minister for Finance in Ireland next year to spend on our schools and our social services. So these are huge implications for Ireland. And whatever the potential short-term benefits of the British leaving in terms of attracting more business to Ireland, the longer-term effects in terms of the economy are much more grave.
You, unusually, as Ireland, have a land border with the United Kingdom to Northern Ireland. What is the importance of that, not just in terms of economics, but politically? We've seen a wonderful peace process in Northern Ireland that has meant peace in our time for the island of Ireland. What would be the implication?
I think it would make the transitioning of the Northern Irish economy into a smart private sector economy, away from the kind of obsession it has with the public sector at the moment, where, 35% of all the workers in Northern Ireland are public sector employees. That's inevitable as a consequence of the conflict in Northern Ireland. So as Northern Ireland becomes normalised, as we get more trade into the north, as the island of Ireland improves as a global destination, that's all for the good in terms of getting more jobs, investment, not just to the north but also to the Republic of Ireland. So were Northern Ireland to be out of the European Union, trying to develop a private sector economy after the years of crisis, I think it would make their task virtually impossible. It also would mean on things like the energy market, where we are the last port of a very large grid in terms of the energy market coming into Ireland, that we would have two different regimes, one in the European Union, one out of the European Union in terms of the north-south interconnector and the east-west interconnector. So for financial services, for energy, for agri-exports, where you would have two regulatory systems in place, that would just cause a nightmare for Irish exporters exporting to the UK. And I think it is that shock that no one can accurately predict in terms of the long-term impact for the Irish economy, particularly now, having come out of the crisis. The economy is coming back strongly in Ireland. We've now got 8% unemployment, still too high, but we're coming back strongly from the crash. So it's the kind of thing you don't want to see if you're trying to have the kind of consistency of economic policy in Ireland.
And finally, Irish people who are resident in the UK have the right to vote in this upcoming referendum. What way do you think they will be voting?
I hope they vote to remain. I hope they vote to a strong UK within the European Union, and the very strong relationship that we have as Irish people with British people. I mean, the bilateral relationship between Britain and Ireland has never been stronger. We are very close friends as a consequence of resolving the problems in Northern Ireland and moving on from the legacy of the past. And there's so much that unites Britain and Ireland together. So for the British to leave, I think it would be not just a disaster for Ireland, but a disaster for the European Union, because we need Britain, a strong Britain within the European Union, because it brings so much to the table as a long-standing free trading country with huge democratic instincts. We need Britain in the European Union to help the European Union.